Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Adfar Shah. Today I have certain important points to share with all of my friends and fans. I think after the pandemic is over, in the post-pandemic era, and when all the schools open and traditional classrooms revive, we are certainly going to witness some big challenges. Challenges in the form of tackling the pandemic behavior of children, which certainly is a Herculean task. Friends, during the prolonged pandemic, we all understand that children were inside the four walls, and this age group was not particularly supposed to be restricted and restrained, but the pandemic made it possible, and we had no other alternative rather to confine them inside. By this forcible confining, they have developed a pandemic behavior, irritable temper, so many issues that are not child friendly, that our children need to unlearn when the pandemic is over. Now, who is going to bell the cat? Who is going to do this difficult task? In many parts of the country, though classrooms have revived in the national capital itself, obviously following the COVID protocol, but we cannot say that traditional classroom has revived fully. And this is, though, the right time to speak on unlearning the pandemic behavior, but this is not the right time to put it in action, because before that, we need particular models. We need to develop those models first, which can really make these children unlearn that pandemic behavior, so that their education for future is not affected, so that their irritable temper that they imbibed during the lockdowns, during the pandemic, is overcome, is tackled, is addressed. The whole responsibility finally lies with teachers. Are teachers going to build these post-pandemic classroom models so that students can unlearn that undesirable behavior? The question is, are teachers alone capable of doing that? Obviously no. Then what should be the role of school administration and parents to cooperate with teachers so that these models are developed, these models are applied in the classroom once the class is revived in a traditional way? Because certainly online education is never going to be the future of Indian education, as we have seen its impediments, issues and challenges since 2020. Having such a digital divide and having such digital illiteracy and digital inadvocacy, infrastructural issues, blah, blah, blah. But that's not my topic today. I am focusing on pandemic behavior to be unlearned by the younger generation, because this is mandatory to be shunned. This behavior cannot be continued. It will certainly fetch undesirabilities. It will shape delinquencies. Therefore, the job of the school administration along with parents is to boost teachers, encourage teachers to develop certain models with the help of child psychologists, child experts, educationists, and those who have huge experience in training elementary classes, so that a mechanism is worked out, modalities are formed, so that this undesirable behavior is arrested in the classrooms further. Teachers can do it. We know our teachers. They are paid less, but they give more. They work more, they are acknowledged less. During the pandemic alone, they have, in many cases, been completely laid off. There are, incidences wherein the whole school staff was thrown out during the pandemic by the school administration. There are instances wherein the teachers, the already ill-paid and low-paid teachers, witnessed huge salary cuts. And there are instances wherein these poor teachers already witnessed huge salary delays. Are we expecting from them to work with heart? But they still are. Undoubtedly, they are working with heart. They are working their all-out efforts. And during the pandemic, they have worked, they have given a same class, I don't know how many times, twice, thrice, 4 times, because they had to reach to different groups. They were teaching in the morning, they were teaching in the evening. But have we recognized their efforts? Instead, parents were demanding that we are not going to pay fee to these schools because schools were shut, ignoring the fact that these teachers, already ill-paid, paid low, were working from home and they were working hard. Now, are we really going to expect from them to develop child-friendly models and apply them in the classroom when we are not acknowledging their efforts? First, we have to acknowledge their efforts. We have to give them their due. We have to pay a fee to the schools so that they pay them on time. And of the government schools as well, there are teachers who are working hard, who are working by heart. We have to label government schools, especially in our part of the world, and we believe that public schooling is useless schooling. It's not the case, friends. These government school teachers are working hard as well. They have infrastructural issues, they have other issues. But same issues are with the private school teachers as well. Therefore, this is the job of the school administration. First, to acknowledge the efforts. Along with this, parents have to acknowledge the efforts of the teachers, give them their due, and later shift this burden from family to the school so that this undesirable pandemic behavior is shunned. I am not saying that at family level, parents have not to do anything. Parents have a primary role, but the kind of deviance and delinquencies and irritable temper, anxieties, mental health issues, frustration and all that, which has been imbibed by students, has to be dealt with at all costs. And this is not anybody's sole responsibility. Everybody, we all, teachers, school administration, parents, have to work in unison to make it possible. I am sure teachers can do it once the class is revived. But teachers for that need training. They need orientations, they need workshops that need to be conducted by school administration and various big city schools. They should also share some charity. They should also send their experts to these small private schools and even government schools as well, so that some psychology is shared, some child sociology is shared, some educational values are shared. Maybe some skilled human resource is shared. so that this noble task is done. I expect that overall in whole India, in the whole country, this task will be taken seriously, because pandemic behavior is something more deadly than the pandemic itself. That teachers have to walk out, that parents have to walk out, and more so in schools, because children hardly, imbibe all the instructions at home and follow in letter and separate note. That's why schools have to do it. That's why schools have to devise those modalities and mechanisms. They have to design those models. They have to create an environment of happiness, a congenial school environment, a congenial school atmosphere, wherein these children, these frustrated children, these children with anxieties and many irritable tempers, behaviors, all that, will find themselves in a happy, free environment. Therefore, schooling post-pandemic has to be a bit different from the traditional schooling. And schools have to take care of that. School administration has to take care of that. Child experts have to take care of that. Everyone has to share this message so that the pandemic behavior is not continued for long and is not allowed to cast its ramifications and lay its adverse effects on the education post-pandemic. Whatever loss has happened, whatever disaster has happened with the education, that is known to all of you, that we all know. We have to now mitigate this disaster. Therefore, we have to be oversensitive. At parental level, we have to understand the child. At the school level, the child has to be understood by their teacher. The teacher has to now work hard to meet the additional challenges that pandemic has thrown at us. Therefore, as a sociologist, I share my responsibility. I pass it to you, and I hope it reaches to schools so that they understand that utmost sensitivity has to be developed to tackle the pandemic behavior of the school children, be that public school children, be that private school children, because children are children and there is no discrimination. I hope the message is conveyed. Thank you so much.